Hey friends, I am Kristen Hemingway, a proud alum of the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. I'm here today to help you plan to win in 2021. Um, right now, we're just listening to background music. I'm going to give people a chance to sign on and to join us. And, we're going to rock out to this little playlist I got going here for a second. As we wait to get started, we're going to give people literally like 3 minutes. So it's going to get kicked off at 7:03. As people join, feel free to share this live video with your friends on your page. We won't necessarily be here long. It'll really depend on how many questions y'all have. But I am here to lay out a framework for you to have success in 2021 and beyond. Until then, vibe to the music. Hopefully you've had a great holiday season. You felt loved, you felt appreciated, you know that you're not alone. You ate some good food, maybe had a really good dessert. My sis made a pound cake. I'm gonna be eating that when we done. Hey Deshambu, welcome. We just vibing out for a second, so give other people a chance to join. We're gonna start exactly 3 minutes in. And until then, we're gonna rock to this little playlist here. This will last forever. If you hear, say hey. Let me know that you hear. Like, be like my sister Shaw, so I can see who I'm rocking with. Last forever. As I vibe out to this song that apparently I really like. Right, we got like literally less than a minute before we get started. But we want to give people a chance to hop on. If you see me looking off to the side, I'm looking at my iPad because that's where my notes are. And notes are important because I don't want to forget anything. Hey, Alexis. Let me shout you out, Alexis. You be keeping the conversation going in the Singles Lounge, and I just appreciate you for the wide array of topics that you pose. So, hey, boo. Thank you for joining us tonight. Actually, let me see something really quick. I can adjust height a little bit. Making a quick adjustment, better angles as well. All angles matter. Yeah, I like this a little bit better. Hey, Ava. You're welcome, Alexis. I appreciate hard work. I shout it out at every chance. Oh, and I was vibing so hard to the music. I didn't realize we were 3 minutes in. So we're getting started. Hey, guys. I'm Kristen Denise Hemingway, a proud alum of the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. October 3rd, 1887. What? I'm a nonprofit professional. I'm a life coach. I'm a youth and community advocate. I'm a dope ass Black girl that wants to help other people be dope and accomplish their goals and dreams. So that is what I am here for today. We make one little adjustment to the screen. This is better. Thank you. My screen was doing something weird. So we are here now, and I'm excited. Thank you, Ava. If you've been with us for a while, I did a workshop right before the holidays, right before Thanksgiving started on steps to coping with when this is not the most wonderful time of year. But now I want to do something to help us have the year we want in the year to come. We all know that 2020 has presented some challenges. Ooh, child. And we know that there was a lot of loss this year for a lot of people, but there was also some wins for some people. And I realized most of the people that had wins were people who planned to win. So even when they had to pivot and shift, they weren't completely caught off guard by what this year brought because they were ready to, get to the next thing to make sure they got what was theirs. And I'm always here for people getting what was theirs. Hey, Peaches. Hey, Kim. Thank you for joining us. And so we're going to get popping, right? So this is about planning to win in 2021 and really in any season of your life, in any year. I believe that we get more of what we want when we plan for what we want versus just kind of having this idea, this dream that live all over here somewhere in the atmosphere with no real plan to it. It's the plan that actually makes things come to pass. So this is my real process. This is a process that I've used for about the last 8 or 9 years now. I want to say, yeah, I started this in 2012. And I would make a plan for a year. I would follow this roadmap that I'm going to share with you. And each year, progressively, I got more and more of what I wanted. And I was manifesting really big things. And a lot of times I didn't necessarily know how I would do something, but I knew that I wanted to do something. And as a result, I got what I wanted because having a plan, setting some intentions, doing what I knew to do, even when I realized there was a lot I didn't know to do, got me to where I wanted to be in the end. So this is stuff people pay good money for. I'm giving it to y'all free 99. Why? Because HBCU love. Right. Um, so we are going to get started. So step one, when you are planning to have the year you want, I'm really big on themes. I think themes carry throughout that year. They help us to focus when we lose focus. And so example, my theme over this last year was flow. I'm a pusher, right? I push for what I want. I climb to the top. I'm going after everything. And after several years of that, just was exhausted. Okay. Okay. And so because I was exhausted, I decided to this year, like, go with the flow and just kind of allow myself not to push so hard, right? Not that I don't have goals, not that I don't have things I want to do, but to be open to what God was showing me for this particular year of my life, especially after 2019. 2019, I was off the charts. Okay. I did some great stuff. I did more stuff than I could have imagined. I had two really big trips. I went to Rwanda and Kenya. I finally finished undergrad after 20 years. I hosted a youth summit, anti-racism training. Like I did a lot, like a lot. And I was tired. Like when I got to the end of 2019, I was like exhausted, kind of undone in ways that I had not been before. And so when I came into 2020, the plan was just kind of to slow down, to allow myself to breathe, to appreciate the things that I had gotten. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I can see all the comments as they come up. To appreciate the things that I had received, that I had accomplished, and to continue to grow, because growth is important for me, and things that aren't growing are dying. I wasn't ready to die. So still wanted to grow, but to do so at maybe a slower pace and to not push so hard, but to see what the year made available to me. And I think that was the perfect thing for me in 2020, because had I come into 2020 with a whole bunch of plans, I potentially would have got to the end of the year with none of it done, which would have been its own little, trauma to me, because I'm a person who thrives on accomplishing my goals and dreams. Um, so being able to go with flow still allowed me to get a whole lot done, but to pay attention to the signs and the times and to plan accordingly, to honor my body, to honor my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health, the fact that we were in a pandemonium, as I like to call it. Um, but to still not say that the year would be a wash. As a result, I got to the end of 2020 with way more wins than losses and way more joy than I realized was possible. And that's what I want for you guys. And it also made me more excited about what's to come in 2021. 2021 is going to be a big deal for me. I don't know about anybody else, but not only am I just planning to win in general, because after 2020 acted a donkey in general, I'm like 2021, I ain't coming to play with you, and don't come in here and play with me. There are some really big things that are happening in my life. It's a pivotal year. I turn 40 next year, April 6th. I will be 40 years old. I graduate from my master's program. I will potentially be entering another graduate program. I plan to, I apply for a fellowship that I plan to get. I will find out first round picks in January. So I may be moving out of the country for a short period of time. There's a lot coming. There are things I want to do in the world, and I'm prepping for it now to make sure I can have it, because I know I can have what I want. And so I'm going to work to get what I want. So the first step, what is your word for the year, for your theme? So like I said, my word for this year was growth, flow. My word the previous year was manifestation. And when I tell you I manifested, child, manifested. So much so that I said I got to the year with the graduation that I didn't go in the year planning for. So you talk about the power of intention, the power of a word to carry you through. In particular, on days when it gets a little bit interesting, having that overarching theme is very powerful. So what's your word for 2021? Mine is thrive. Pandemic or not, fellowship or not, graduate school or not, I'm going to thrive. I'm not going to just survive. A lot of people, 2020 surviving was enough. It was. I'm glad you made it here. I'm praying we continue to make it and we get into 2021 because surviving in 2020 is the win. But if I survive 2020, I better damn sure thrive in 2021. And the only way you get there is if you work for it and you set it up. What's your word? It could be growth. It could be manifestation. It could be live. It could be a year of forgiveness. It could be a phrase. It doesn't even have to be one thing, right? So I know people who have over the course of the last several years use Shonda Rhimes' year of yes. Like, this is my year of yes. I'm saying yes to me, to my life, to my goals, to my dreams. I'm saying yes to everything I could possibly have. What is your one word? Take a moment, think about it. If you come up with it and you want to share, leave it in the comments. Hey, Crystal. I would like to see what some of your words are. It doesn't have to be finalized in this moment. Like maybe it's two or three that are floating in your head. What are you thinking about? What might that one word be for the year to come? You know, is it going to be changed? Do you recognize, that 2020 make you recognize there's a lot of stuff in my life I want to change, and I'm changing it in the year to come to make sure I'm living the life I want to live? Is it flow? Do you need to learn how to go with the flow? Is it push? Oh, foundation. I like that, Ava. Building a firm foundation. Hear me. Building a firm foundation is key for everything, right? Because if the foundation's not firm, it doesn't matter what you build on top of it, it won't last. So I love that, Ava. Foundation is an excellent word. Anybody else? Balance and growth. I like, I like, I like. Thank you, Kimberly, for sharing. Let's see if we can get one more share before we move on. What y'all got for me? I feel like a bad little kid. What y'all got for me? Thrive. Yes, my word. Yes. We gonna thrive. Ava, I love that. Sometimes we do have to uproot. Sometimes we gotta burn it all down, tear it up, and rebuild from scratch so that what we build on top of it can last. You really, really can't build anything good on a shaky foundation. So I'm very proud of you for tearing up what needs to be tore up. I know it wasn't easy because it never feels easy to tear stuff up. I know that to be true. I even got to know what it is. I know if you're tearing it up, it's hard work to tear it up and it's painful to let it go. So kudos to you, sis. I'm grateful that you have an opportunity to tear up and to rebuild the way you want to build moving forward. So, much positive energy to you in your journey of developing the foundation that you want to have so you can set everything else off moving forward. So now we're going to get to step 2, which is pick a mantra, write a mantra, pick a quote, write your own quote. But what is going to motivate you on the days where you get a little and I don't know if I want to keep going? What are the things that are moving you forward? It could be a scripture. So I have a series of things I use. I definitely have 3 life verses that as I call them, 3 scriptures that I really use to guide me when it gets hard. Jeremiah 29:11, Romans 8:28, and 1 Corinthians 2:9. So Jeremiah 29:11 is, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope, or hope in the future, depending on your version. But either way, he's got good things for you. So live into that. Romans 8:28. There's nothing that can separate us from the love of God, right? No, I'm sorry. All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. Jesus, I need it now. Who are called according to his purpose. I know that I am called according to his purpose, which means that everything will work together for my good, which means if it isn't good yet, we have not gotten to the end. Okay? And then, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love him. I know I love him, which means the biggest thing I can imagine is still not as big as what God has for me. And I live into that because there have been years where I've imagined some really big things and God has made them infinitely more beautiful than anything I could have thought about, right? Like my big thing was like, oh, I just want to do this and this is cool. And God said, watch me blow your mind. And he's done it every time. So those are the scriptural references that I use to kind of carry me and my mantras throughout the year as a reminder when it gets difficult, when it's challenging. I shared in the previous live I did that I have a mental health diagnosis of major depressive disorder with anxiety. Sounds crazy. It ain't all that bad, but it's what I deal with, which means there are days where it gets really, 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 really challenging to move forward. But reminding myself that all things work together for my good. All things, not some things, not just the things that feel good or look good, but everything is great on the days where it feels like nothing's working for my good. right? There's a quote I live by. It's a Mother Teresa quote that I just fell in love with years ago. And it's, I'm a little pencil in the hands of a writing God that's sending a love letter to the world. I believe my life is meant to be a love letter. And so there are times where I want to kind of snap, I want to pop off, I want to act a little crazy. But then I reset myself by saying, is this the most loving thing I can do in this place? Is this a love letter? Is this the letter I want to send to the world? Is this the representation of God I want to be in the world? The answer is no. It helps me to make a new decision. I'll be real, it don't work all the time, but it does help me to slow down, to think, and to reset. What I've been saying recently is I am worthy of being loved well, even when I feel unlovable, and I am worthy of good things. I just am. I'm worthy of good things. And I can have every single thing I want, but I'm going to get what I say, so I might as well say what I want. Own it, live into it. I ain't got to explain my luxury. I ain't got to explain nothing about my life. It's my life. This is what I want. This is what I believe I can have. I'm going to live into that. And I'm going to prove to you, if I feel like approving anything, that it can be true. When people say, oh, I don't know about that, baby, just watch me work. You don't have to know. I do. So I can push myself. I keep myself motivated. I can keep myself going when it gets hard because I have these phrases built into my life to keep me going when I don't want to keep going. It's that simple. So, what is your quote? You can use something that already exists in the world. What is your mantra? You can use something that already exists in the world or write your own. What are your scriptures or other faith statements? It doesn't have to be scripture. You don't have to believe in the Holy Bible. You may be Buddhist, you may be Muslim, and there may be some holy words from your faith practice that can guide you forward in your journey. What are those key things that you know, while this might have been written for everybody, it surely was written for me? And this is the thing that's going to get me pressing forward when I don't want to do nothing but lay down. Now, let me be clear. Sometimes you do need a nap. So lay down and take the nap. But your quotes and your mantras will keep you motivated when you get back up to know that you can get back in the race. Both are necessary. The next thing you're going to do, create a positive power playlist, right? Music is spiritual. It ain't got to be spiritual music to be spiritual, but I believe that music is a spiritual experience. And starting your day with really good music that makes you want to get out into the world and get going is a way to make sure that you get out into the world and get going with lightness in your heart, with love in your heart. Yes, Alexis, take them naps, sis. So, what's your playlist? There are songs. There's a NDRE song, "Beautiful Day." I cannot be mad when I listen to that song. There is a Angie song, "Happy Being Me," because I'm so happy being me. I'm regretting nothing about me. Too busy living life, giving love freely. I'm so happy being me. So if I start the day knowing that I'm happy being me, like Kristen and Kristen are on one accord, ain't really much you can do to throw me off because I've already set my intentions for the day. I've already settled my spirit for the day. Yes, that's beautiful, Crystal. Crystal shared her mantra. Look at it. And through it all, the lotus continues to bloom. Come hell or high water, what we got? A blooming lotus. Bloom, sis. I love that. Um, so what's on your power playlist? It can be spiritual songs. There's a song, "More of You" by Fred Hammond. Takes me there every time. Look, when I wake up and I'm feeling a little heavy, that's the way my depression really shows up is in the mornings for me. It can make it hard to get out of bed. Take me to the king. I ain't got much to bring. My heart's torn in pieces. It's my offering. Leave me at the throne. Leave me there. Let me at the throne. Leave me there alone to gaze upon your glory and sing to you this song. At the end of that, at the end of the tears that come with that, because tears typically come, I ain't gonna lie. Um, I am empowered by being laid at the throne, at the feet of the king, to get up and face whatever may come. You know, there's another Christian song, and it says, "Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I need more of you, God," right? That will set me off. Hear me? What are your songs? Be they spiritual songs or just songs that move your spirit? It might be "Back That Ass Up." I ain't gonna judge you. Whatever gets you moving and ready to take on the day. It might be your Beyonce playlist. Listen, it could be a whole twerk mix. Whatever. Whatever you need to do to get you motivated to face the day and get what you want out of it. That is what I encourage you to do. Girl, yeah, Fred Hammond will send you over every time. These are good. Crystal has another good one. Don't wait for permission to do something creative. Ava DuVernay, she is so dope. I got to hear her speak the other night. Oh my God, she's amazing. Um, so yeah, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Like if you talk about Fred Hammond, it won't work, even if the weapon is me. How about them? Like you want to take it to another level. God won't even let me make myself fail. No weapon formed against me shall prosper, even if I'm the weapon. How about that? How does that help you reset after making a mistake or a decision that you realize you shouldn't have made? In the end, it's gonna all work out right for me. That's a quote from my friend that her dad used to say. Everything will always work out right for me always. And if it has not worked out right, you have not made it to the end. How about that? So, what are your mantras, your quotes, or your playlist? What are your songs? Like, what are the things that you can start your day with, that you can write on your mirror, that you can put on cards and put around your house, that you can print out, you can write on post-it paper? How do you surround yourself with good thoughts, positive feelings, good words, some good music to move you in the morning, to set your day? I keep words all around me. As you can see, this is my word wall. This is behind my dining room table. I am constantly remember that I should be thankful, that I am loved, that this is a place to gather, that these are the good days, that I should see the world. Like I keep it around me because that's what's going to keep me set and moving forward. So, what is it for you? So now we've got our word for the year. We've got our mantra, scripture, quote. We made our power playlist. It ain't got to be a lot of songs, just enough to get you going, right? The next thing you're gonna do. This is we have the real deal. This is the work. Pick 3 to 5 big, crazy, audacious, amazing, transformational, life-changing goals to focus on in 2021. Now, the reality is you're probably not going to do all of that while we're sitting here, but write that step down. The reason I say 3 to 5, you could actually have one. If there's just one big thing you need to focus on this year, if it's getting my business off the ground, if it's going back to school, if it's relocating, if it's finding a new job, whatever it is, it could just be one thing, right? And one is enough. It's not the end of the world if you only have one goal for the year and you accomplish it because you put the energy necessary into it to make it happen. If you get more than 5 really big goals, you can find yourself being overwhelmed and shutting down and stopping, or even discounting your progress because you had more than 5, but say you accomplished 3. There are people who forget what they did accomplish because they're focusing on all the things they didn't accomplish. I plan my life in quarters, so I like to have 4, one a quarter that I can really, really focus on. To say, if I do these 4 things this year, it's a win. And I'm set up to do even more in the next year. Right. And so these are your big, giant, this gonna take some work, some time, some energy, some effort type of goals. No more than 5. 1 is enough. So, what are your things? Think through that. Again, I'm not expecting you to have those sitting right here, right now, but write that down so that you make sure you have them. So, here's the thing after you get we'll say 1 to 5, I won't even say 3. After you get your 1 to 5 really big, audacious, scary, I need God to move because if he don't move, this ain't gonna work type goals, you can have some sub goals, right? You got some medium sized goals, you got some little goals. There are things that you want to do, even if maybe they won't be transformational and like me doing this one thing is gonna change my life, but it's something you really want to accomplish. So, an example of one of my medium goals are my reading goals. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm an avid reader, right? I've been reading since I was 2 years old. And it got weird in there for a period of time where I wasn't really reading as much as I knew I could. I was like watching more TV and all this other stuff that wasn't really feeding my soul. So I gave up TV and I decided to read more. So every year now I have a reading goal, I have a book goal. In my best year, I read 88 books. I don't know if I would have read 88 books if I didn't have a reading goal that year. Now, the goal wasn't 88 books, but that's just where we landed. But having a reading goal kept reading in the forefront of my mind. This year, the reading goal was 28 books. I read them all. I'm far past 28 books. I'm like at 40 something now, maybe 50. I need to go look at my Goodreads so I can figure that out. But that was a medium sized goal. That's a smaller goal. That doesn't necessarily change my life, but it keeps me focused on my self care because reading is a part of my self care, right? And it reminds me of something that I love, that resets me, that helps me settle down. So I keep it moving on my reading goal. Maybe you have an exercise goal. My goal was to exercise 3 times a week. It's not about weight loss or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure that I was moving my body at the time at least 3 times a week. That's a goal, right? So these are some of your smaller, more medium-sized goals that fill in the space. I say for the year in total, you don't want more than 12 to 15 goals, right? You can create a backup list if you find yourself getting past 12 to 15. That way, if you just burn through that first list, like you just blow it out the water, you got your big goals, your medium, your small goals, you've done, and it's August and you want more to do. You have this backup list of other things you said you could work on or that you would work on and it would feel good to accomplish. That's cool. But start your focus with no more than 12 to 15 things. That gives you like one really good thing to focus on every month, technically, if you broke it down that way. So, what are your goals? Write them down. Have them in multiple places. Have a list in your phone. Make it your screensaver. Create a Canva, make it your screensaver. Put it on the wall in your bedroom. Put it on the mirror in your bathroom. Put it in your office. Put it in a lot of places to be reminded of the intentions that you're setting for the year at the beginning of it when you have a clear mind. Next part, after you have your goals, take a 2021 calendar, paper calendar. Okay, something you can see. You can buy one from the dollar store if calendaring is not really your thing. I like really nice planners, so I buy really big, pretty planners because that's my thing. Think about when you want to accomplish each goal, right? If you have a goal, I'll give an example. A couple of years ago, I wanted to run a half marathon. I knew I wasn't gonna run it at the beginning of the year because I hadn't prepped for it. Wasn't gonna do that. And so I found the one I wanted to run. It was in November of that year. So boom, no, I put it on that date. This is the half marathon I want to run. It was in my calendar, right? I'm graduating in April, so I want to have a new job by June, July. That's going to be in my calendar, right? There are some trips I want to take post pandemonium. That's going to be in my calendar. There is a one of my goals is to do a photo shoot every year with my goddaughter. She is the light of my life. I love her so much. We did a photo shoot in matching outfits this year. I want to keep the party going so we can watch both of our growth over the year. That's going to go on my calendar, right? Because if I get the fellowship, when I get the fellowship, I'm going to be out of the country for a significant part of the year, which means I got to make sure to schedule that before then, right? So think of when you want to accomplish the things that you want to do. What are the deadlines for them? Some things might be time bound. My goal is to literally graduate at the top of my class. I got out of undergrad. It was very interesting circumstances, another story for another day. But my overall GPA was not indicative of my capability. I'll say it that way. So I have a goal of graduating top of my class for my master's degree. So far, I have had 7 A pluses and 1 A. Between the 2 semesters of grad school, I have 1 semester. My overall GPA at a 4.26. I'm well on my way to accomplishing my goal. I graduate in April. I need to make sure that when April hits, I am where I want to be for what I want to do, which means scheduling time to study, making sure my work is done, making sure I knock my internship out of the park. All those things are necessary for me to get that goal, and I got to write all of that in my calendar. This is when grades are due. So everything I do leading up to that, this is what matters, right? So I have a goal of being published for academic work. There's some things I got to do for that to happen, right? So get your calendar, and for whatever those 12 to 15 goals are that you set, it's okay if it's less than 12. So whatever the number is, for all those goals that you set, put them in your calendar for when you want them done for multiple reasons. One, to remind you of the deadlines long before you hit them. And 2, so you can backtrack when you need to start working on them to ensure that you can be successful. So with the example of the half marathon was in November. I picked a 16-week or a 4-month training plan. That means I can't start training in November or even October. I got to start training in July to ensure that I'm prepared to run this half marathon in November, right? So once you know the deadline, backtrack so you know when you need to start working on it to ensure that you have enough time to get done what you want to get done. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they didn't plan to win. So don't be that person. Plan to win by knowing when you need to do something by, so you know when you need to start it in order to give yourself enough leadway to make it happen. Okay? Awesome. And then once you have all of those deadlines, put those deadlines in your calendar or your phone and give yourself an alert 2 months out, 3 months out. Give yourself an alert of when you need to start it by. Once you figure it out on paper, write all the steps in and give all those steps deadlines because it gets you closer to getting it done. And celebrate every little achievement. A great visual for that was something I did in a life coaching program I participated in 2 years ago, and it was super dope. She had us use you can use whatever. I use post-it paper because I'm partial to post-its, right? One side you wrote where you are. You drew a picture. I'm not an artist, so mine were stick figures. It did not matter. It were stick figures with curly hair. You draw a picture of where you are on one side. On the other side, you draw a picture of where you want to be. Between the two, you drew a bridge. And you wrote all the steps to get you across the bridge. And you gave each step a deadline, right? And as I accomplished those things, I got to draw a line through it. Like I did this, boom, draw a line. I did this, draw a line. I did this. And seeing me constantly be able to draw those lines through the steps was motivation to keep going. And I accomplished every goal I set that year, except for one. And that I didn't accomplish that one, not because I couldn't, because I took it off the list and replaced it at the time with finishing undergrad. So I just, to honor my time, my mental, emotional health, I just swapped them out and I accomplished that, right? So every goal I had, I accomplished that year. And I think part of it was having those steps and those deadlines because it made it tangible and it made it feasible, right? When I say I want to publish a book, that can sound huge and crazy. I'm like, how the hell do you publish a book? But when I write down all the steps, finish these 3 chapters, finish this, do this, submit this, and they have dates, March 1st, March 15th, April 6th, whatever the case may be, I can do those things and cross them off and see my progress and move forward to get to where I want to be in the end. So create a visual representation, make a checklist, draw your bridge, write your steps, get your deadlines, make it happen. The next thing, now this is optional. I am an advocate for it, but it's truly optional. Get you some accountability. Who are the people who are going to remind you of your intentions when you want to forget that you intended to do something? When it gets in the muck, when it's hard. For me, a big one is school. Sometimes I can be overwhelmed by school because I am a perfectionist in recovery. And so it can feel like it's a lot of there's something I don't think I'm understanding or getting, or if I'm not sure how I'm performing on something, it will really stress me out. And I'll be like, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. I don't need this in my life. I'm going to bed. And I have friends who I can talk to when I get that way, who can help me reset, who can be like, hey, it's okay. Take a minute, take a deep breath. Let's talk through what's causing you stress. Let's talk through if this is really necessary. Let's think of if there's another way to think about this. Can you ask for an extension? Can you talk to your professor? Can you get some tutoring? I'm rolling with the school example. Okay, maybe you still need to go to bed tonight because you've maybe done a lot, which is why you're feeling overwhelmed. And then we'll check back in tomorrow with a plan for how to move forward. If it's work related, like, you know what, my boss is tripping. I need to find another job. I don't need to be here anymore. Cool. Recognize that. Don't quit your job today, right? Because money is important, right? Got to pay your bills. But let's develop a plan for you to get to the job you want. Okay, what type of jobs are you looking for? Have you updated your resume? Have you been on LinkedIn? Do you know people in these companies? Who can you reach out to? Like, let's the accountability person is there to help you set your plan. So, and to remind you of your plan when you get overwhelmed or tired or just this is stupid, because we all have those feelings from time to time, like this is stupid, I don't want to do this, and help you continue to move forward when you might self-sabotage yourself. So it's not required, but it is beneficial. And don't think you have to choose the obvious person as your accountability partner. It doesn't have to be your best friend. It doesn't have to be your significant other. It ain't got to be your mama. It doesn't have to be your sibling. It's going to be the person who you know can help you reset and who's going to push you to be everything that you say you want to be and everything they know that you can be. And so don't think it has to be a certain person. Figure out who the best person or people. You might have a circle of people who can help you do this. But figure out who those folks are going to be. Invite them to sit in that role in your life, honor the position that you give them, and move forward together. And the last thing, I'm just repeat it, create a visual representation. I haven't done my vision board yet because I haven't finished thinking of all my goals. Still working on them. But when I'm done, I'm going to create a visual representation. I have vision boards from previous years because they spoke to me, so I still have them and keep them and put them up in my office. But when I figure out everything I want for this year, when I'm done with that and create my visual representation of this year, that goes in my bedroom. It typically goes on the wall right across from my bed. So it's constantly in my face as a reminder of this is where we're focusing this year. So, what is it? Do you want to say, this is the year I find love? Maybe the love you're looking for is not a romantic relationship. Maybe it's finding the love that lives within you and in your community to remind you that whether or not you are partnered, you are loved well. So is love on your vision board? Is it? No, forget that. It's the partner. Well, what are you going to do to prep to find the partner? How are you going to make sure you've worked on your own things? Are you good with money? Do you have good conflict resolution skills? Have you gone to therapy to work through the stuff that the last person did or the stuff from your childhood? Have you prepped yourself for what you want? What can you do to continue to prepare? Create this visual representation for all the things that you plan to do, to remind you constantly of where your focus should be, and to make sure that you are daily making progress towards where you want to be. And that's really it. That's everything. Again, this is a process I've been using since 2012. Without running down a resume, I'll tell you some big things I did in those years. One of those years, I did a cross country road trip for 3 weeks, and visited 17 cities in 11 states, did service projects in all of them. That was life changing for me because I created that. I raised money for that, over $5,000 in the end. I was able to carry, my vision was big enough to carry other people along with me. Like that was life changing. That was the first year I really did this in 2012. In 2013, after getting laid off from work, I still spent 6 weeks in China teaching conversational English and having the time of my life and finding a job that carried me through the next couple of years that I couldn't have even imagined before I got it, right? I graduated from undergrad. I got into my grad school program, and more importantly, I ain't the one paying for it. Yay! Right? That was a big thing for me this year once I decided what I wanted to study and how I wanted to move forward. Um, what are some other things? I went to Rwanda. I went to Kenya. Those were major things for me. I've spoken at conferences. I have built up my speaker trainer coach side hustle. Um, I'm living a really, really good life, even in the middle of a pandemic. I'm being paid what I'm worth without having to haggle for it. Why? Because money flows to me, right? And that working in flow, money flows to me. And when I tell you money has flowed to me, who knew, Lord, that it could in the middle of a pandemic? But it does because of where I set my intentions, of where I do my work, and how I choose to move forward. So, what do you need to do so that 2021 can be the year that changes your life for the better in all of the ways that matter? That's all I have. Are there any questions? So I'm going to give it a second, go to the chat to see if there are any questions I can respond to. And if there are no questions, that's it. That's all, folks. I hope this was beneficial. I pray that you find something in this that you can use. If you want to hire a coach, you can slide into my DMs. We can talk through what you might need, to see if we can work together. That's not necessary though. This, like I said, was for the free 99 because I love y'all and I want to see y'all thrive. I love celebrating with people. I love seeing people win, in particular people that look like me. So I really want the best for you guys. That is my hope and prayer for you in 2021, is that you will receive the absolute best that the universe has for you in every area of your life. And I pray that this can help you get some of that. So, any questions? I'm gonna give it like a full minute because I know sometimes the chat can move a little slow. And if not, we'll end it here. Yes, Crystal, get back to reading for fun. It's important. Joy is our birthright. Mm, mm, mm. 30 seconds. Okay, friends. Oh, no questions. Okay, friends, thank you so much. I really do love you, even if I haven't met you. I really am believing God's best for you, because I believe that good things are possible, that you deserve good things, and that you can really do exactly what you want to do. Remember, you can have what you want, but you'll get what you say. So you might as well say what you want.